Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a very chit-chatty video. And then I'm going to show you some favorites also, but I feel like I just have so much, I don't know, on my mind. And I know, I'm sure you don't watch every single one of my videos. I don't expect anybody to, but if you do, if you are one of the few people that do, then you probably noticed, sometimes I'll go a couple weeks without making a video, and that's usually when things just get a little stressful for whatever reason. But anyway, I just did that recently, and so I just kind of wanted to talk about a few of those things. But also, I have cut my hair. So I know you can never tell because I usually keep it back here, but I actually just cut it like a few days ago. And this is how short it is right now. For whatever reason, whenever I wear it forward like this, which I hardly ever do, I always want to tuck, one side behind my ear, but usually I'm just always wearing it like that, so I don't even know why I even bother. But it's not like my hair was like cascading down my back or anything. I just literally cut like maybe that much off. My hair was kind of going in a major angle, like and I wanted it to be a little bit more straight across-ish. So that's what I did right there. But also, for whatever reason, whenever I am a little bit stressed, or mainly if I'm like stressed or I'm upset or depressed or something like that, which I don't really get depressed very often, but sometimes there are things that weigh really heavy on my mind. For whatever reason, I start cutting my hair. And I don't know if there's anybody out there, like me, that has a weird way of dealing with stress, but for whatever reason, that is mine. Not to say that every time I cut my hair, I'm stressed out about something, because that's not the case. Sometimes I'm just like bored, or I'm just not liking, the way that I look or something like that. But there are times, like whenever I'm really stressed for whatever reason, I feel like whenever I cut my hair, and because I know I'm not that great at it, I'm not a professional or anything, it almost gives me, it almost acts like a distraction for me. It gives me something else to fuss over so that I'm not thinking about what's really, stressing me out, I have my hair like behind my shoulders all the time anyway. It's almost like you can't even tell. But so one of the things that's been stressing me out recently, and I probably shouldn't even talk about it because I can already feel like my emotions coming to the surface. But yeah. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a video that I put up a couple weeks ago where I was just pretty much... Anyway, I know that a lot of you are probably going to think it's so silly because it's a cat. So a few weeks ago, I had to put down my cat, and I'm having a very hard time talking about it, and I knew that I would. I think what I'm going to do is, at the end of this video, I've been trying to put together a little like video compilation of me and my cat, because I have so many like videos with her and stuff, and I might put that together and put it at the end of this video. I've been trying to put it together, and every time I do, I just can't, emotionally deal with it. So I know, like I said, I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh my God, it was a cat, but she was with me for 22 years, and I was 25. So I was 25 whenever my husband bought her for me, and that's a long time to be with an animal. And we had a really special, very unique bond. And it's like we literally grew up together. I mean, I'm 47 now, and she was 22. It's very rare. I've read that cats live to age 23. I don't know why 22 is the number, but so it was literally the hardest decision that I've ever made in my life, but she was literally like dying right before my eyes. And it would have been really selfish of me to not, make that decision. And so anyway, that has been weighing on me since August 31st was the day. And I couldn't even, so I'm gonna go ahead and change the subject because I know that I'm not gonna be able to talk about that. So anyway, the other thing that's been just really, really stressful, but has also been a little bit of a blessing in disguise because it's been a major distraction also, is that, we're doing this virtual learning. And it's funny because my daughter, she's like completely self-sufficient. She's 14 years old. She is a freshman in high school now. And so, she's doing virtual learning right now also. She goes back, they both go back next Monday. But so she just kind of does her own thing. She makes fantastic grades. She wants to make great grades for herself. And we've always, obviously told her how important it is to make really good grades. And of course, there's times where she's told us like she made a B or C on a test. And obviously, we are not happy about that. And we kind of let her know, that her future is really important. And it all kind of comes down to what she's learning and her education and stuff like that. And so, so she really tries to make really good grades on her own, and she does. She's always been a straight A student. I'm not sure if she's ever made a B. She's just so smart. My son, he is actually autistic, and I've shared that with you guys before. He's 11 years old. This is his first year in middle school, and we're doing virtual learning. So it's the first time that he's having like 6 classes and 6 different teachers and stuff like that. And it was very, very stressful for me at first, because it's one thing to deal with like one teacher and one helper, or one teacher or 2 teachers and a helper or something like that. It's totally different when you're dealing with 6 different teachers, 6 different personalities. You worry about how they're going to respond or feel about, your son. In the past, his teachers have always just like fallen in love with him. And because he's really, really unique, and he's so like genuinely 100% honest and authentic with every single thing that comes out of his mouth. Like he never, he doesn't even know what it means to like try to get attention for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? He doesn't try to make people laugh. He just does it. You end up laughing because you can't believe some of the things that have come out of his mouth. And it's not mean, it's not rude. It's just way too honest, and it's really extremely, extremely honest sometimes. But anyway, most people find it extremely endearing. But at the same time, I have always been a volunteer, throughout his entire elementary. And so I get to know the teachers also, and they get to know me. And because of the friendships that I form with the teachers, I think it also helps with, I don't know. It's just, I just was really, really worried about this, new year and stuff like that. So far, I feel like we're doing really, really well. However, from 8:50 in the morning till 4:10 in the afternoon, I'm literally camped out with my computer right by his side. It's as if I'm in 6th grade all over again. And I'm actually learning a lot. Things that I've obviously already learned before, but now that I'm relearning them, I'm like, God, it's so interesting. I wish I would have really paid attention more back then. I just kind of studied for the test and stuff like that. But anyway, so I feel like I have a full-time job. And when I say that I don't leave his side, I'm not exaggerating at all. I do not leave his side. If I do for 10 or 15 minutes, I can come back and he will have no idea what was just said to him, or, especially if they're like giving instructions on what he's supposed to do. He's now starting to catch on. This is like week 3 or something. And so he is paying attention a little bit better, but it can be very, very stressful. And it throws me into, worry, anxiety girl, And so there's just been a lot of things, a lot of thoughts and emotions and just all sorts of stuff just kind of swirling around in my head. On top of it, You know, I've been a stay-at-home mom since my daughter was born, so for 14 years. And although I do YouTube and stuff like that, I can do it on my own time, but I was also volunteering and stuff like that. Now, because I'm with him, literally connected at the hip with him all day long, first of all, I have so much appreciation for all of the teachers that have guided him and helped him all these years. I mean, they have done such a phenomenal job and never, ever once even insinuated that he was, difficult or, anything. They've always said such great positive things about him. But I think that I'm realizing now just how much help he's gotten along the way. And I can tell that he relies on that. And so I'm taking a totally different approach, and it's totally different because I'm one mom and one child. I'm not a teacher with 20 to 30 other students. So I realize that nobody could ever have given him the attention that I'm obviously giving him now and that he clearly needs. So anyway, those are just some of the things that have been going on in my head and in my life, recently. On top of it, I just want to say that I have so much, and I've said this before on my channel several times, but I have so much respect for working moms and working women who are moms, or just working women in general. But especially if you're a mom, especially if you go to work and then you come home to children and then you're cooking dinner and you're doing laundry and you're doing all that. Because, for the last 14 years, I've always taken care of the household things. And then I've also volunteered and stuff like that. But, and then I've also had my YouTube channel. So there's definitely work that's getting done aside from just housework, you know what I mean? But now that I'm sitting next to him all day, every day, and then right after that, we go straight into homework. And then I'm like tag teaming my husband, and then he goes and helps with homework. And then I'm making dinner. And then it's, cleaning the kitchen and doing some laundry, and then trying to turn in all of his work because we have to turn it in. I have to take pictures of it and upload it and then, get it to the right teachers and stuff like that. I'm literally crawling into bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just crashing out. And I just, like I said, I just have so much appreciation for all of you women out there that are working and helping to, contributing to the finances and stuff like that. And then still being a mom and a housekeeper and a cook and just all those other roles that we play as women, And, not to say that my husband, trust me, my husband is totally helping out. And I can easily just go in there and be like, can you please clean the kitchen or help me at least clean the kitchen so that I can turn in all his homework. And he doesn't even blink an eye. He just gets right up and just comes and helps me. But it's, it's definitely different for us because I've always taken care of everything in the household, and he's always taken care of making sure everything gets paid. You know what I mean? So something else I wanted to say, and I don't know, I'm just feeling really grateful. I feel like, sometimes when I'm really, really stressed out, I try to think of all the things that I'm so grateful for, and I have been. Oh my gosh, that's one thing that COVID has kind of done for me also. I was already practicing a lot of gratitude before, but now it's like more than ever. One thing I want to also say is thank you to anybody who follows me on Instagram and just allows me to be myself. I know that I like to. A lot of people for Instagram, they take a lot of pictures of themselves, you might be somebody who does your makeup really, really well, or has gorgeous hair, or has a really sense of fashion and stuff like that. And so that's what you put on your Instagram. And I love that, because it inspires me. All those things that I just mentioned totally inspire me. But I feel like all of us are very, none of us are one-dimensional, obviously. Even if you are subscribed to somebody on YouTube and they do all makeup tutorials, that doesn't mean that their whole life is nothing but makeup, Obviously, other things create and kind of mold them into who they are, their wives, their moms, their daughters. They might like to work out. They might like to do yoga or whatever, everybody is unique in their own individual way. One thing about me and my Instagram is I don't post a lot of pictures. I do post a lot of dancing videos. When I discovered TikTok, so before I discovered TikTok, I was already putting up videos of me like dancing around and lip syncing to songs and stuff like that, because that brings me joy. It just does. It makes me happy. It makes me feel young. It makes me feel vibrant. It makes me feel alive. I love the sound of music. When I hear it, I can't help but move. It's, there's been times where we've gone to like my children's school festivals or something like that, and if they're playing music really, really loud, it takes everything in me to not start moving and dancing. I obviously know better than to do something like that at a child's event, or my children's school event or something like that. But I just love to dance. I love to feel the music. I'm not the best dancer in the world. I'm not saying that I am. Just like, I post videos of me doing yoga. I'm not the best yogi in the world. I can't do half of the stuff that people that are really good at yoga can do. But I love it and I enjoy it. And if I feel like I'm getting better at something, then I might film it and I'm gonna post it, And there are so many of you that are so supportive of just allowing women to just be who they are, just be their genuine, authentic self, and just appreciating and accepting all sides of that person. You don't even have to appreciate and accept all sides of the person, but you're not gonna like criticize somebody or tell them. Somebody left me a comment today that was just really extremely insulting, and it's almost like they see you dancing, and obviously, a lot of these dances that I do on that I put on Instagram, I just get off TikTok. Some of them I make up myself. There are a couple where I make up I don't make up the moves myself. I just take little moves from different TikTok videos that I've seen, the ones that I can do, or the ones that are not as sexy or sexual, because some of the moves on TikTok are just so over the top sexual that, I don't know, makes me feel uncomfortable a little bit, because some of the moves and stuff that I see the other girls do, even, and I'm not just younger girls, I mean, even women my age and older, they'll throw it back and they'll do all these moves and stuff like that. And obviously I have, certain limitations, maybe not like in front of my mirror, I'll try things out in front of my mirror all day long, or maybe not like in front of my husband or something like that. But obviously there are certain things where I'm just like, oh no, that might be a little too over the top sexy, which I don't think I've crossed that line, on Instagram. I don't know. But I do know something. I know that all of us, most of us, still feel very connected to our younger selves. I don't know that that's ever going to change. I remember one time being like 20 something years old, and I asked my uncle, I think he was like 40 at the time. I mean, he was like younger than I am now. And I was like, do you ever still feel like you're in your 20s, like in your mind? I don't know why I even thought to ask him that, but he's like, of course, all the time. In my mind, I'm not 40, that's for sure. I mean, I remember specifically us having that conversation and him telling me that, yeah, he still feels like he's in his 20s, even though he's older. And so that's how I feel. And I think that's how most of us feel. I feel like most of us feel, inside we're still very, very young. And especially if you're somebody who still tries to take care of your appearance and takes care of your body and still and is still in touch with your like sexy side and still wants to feel sexy. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And so I do that, and sometimes I make it public. I might put it on Instagram or something like that. And you have the option to either follow me or not follow me. I'll tell you one thing, you're not required to leave a comment. You're absolutely 100% not required to leave a comment, nor are you required to watch anything that I put out. So if it rubs you the wrong way, just delete me or, unfollow me or whatever. But to just leave a negative comment, to leave a mean comment or something and say, oh, you act like a stripper or something like that. I'm like, come on. I mean, come on. You would think I was like dancing in a thong bikini or something like that. Some of these comments are just so rude and so mean. And I'm like, as long as my husband is okay with what I put on social media, and let me tell you, first of all, I don't put anything on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere without running it past my husband first. Like always. That's just who I am. And because if he is not comfortable with it, and if he was like, why would you want to put that out there? Then I would never put it out there. But my husband is so supportive and so encouraging. And he's not the guy that's like, oh no, go put that on because it is less flattering on you. He's the one that's like, put that on that makes you look the best. You know what I mean? But on top of it, I run things past my daughter also, because she's 14 years old. She's in high school. Her friends might find out that I'm on Instagram and stuff. So, I want to be careful with how she feels about certain things. But my daughter's very, very accepting of me. First of all, she knows I'm a loving, caring, good, kind person. And she also knows that I take pride in my appearance, in my skin care, in my physique, in my health, all of those things. And so I can promise you, me dancing a little bit sexy. If anything, she's over there like, I've got a pretty cool mom. She's not sitting there going, wow, my mom's so embarrassing and my mom's so stupid and I don't want to be seen with her. She and I have so much fun together. We especially have fun together when we do such simple little stuff like go to HEB together. Like we just, we have fun together because I am still very young at heart and she is 14. And so our personalities just kind of go perfect together. But anyway, so, if I would never behave in a way that was not approved by my husband and my children. So anyway, the only reason I mention that is because on Instagram, if you do not like seeing a 47-year-old woman, dance in a way that might be a little bit sexy, I guess. I mean, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not at all. Then just don't follow me on Instagram. But that is part of who I am. Like part of who I am is somebody who listens to music I can't right now because I'm doing virtual learning. But before, I am somebody who listens to music always. Sometimes I'm listening to music when I'm going to bed at night. Like literally, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't have to be like soothing music. It could be like hip hop. And I'm listening to it because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel alive. I love music. I love to dance. I always dance. So if those are parts of who I am and it's my social media platform, then that's what I'm going to post. I'm going to post things that represent me, And so if it makes you uncomfortable and if you don't like it, then don't follow me. But if you do, and you are so supportive and I would say 99% of you are so incredibly supportive. And I can tell that I feel like I found my tribe, you know what I mean? Because y'all feel the same way I do about so many things, especially about still feeling very young at heart and still having a mind that's very connected to who you were at 16, 17, 18, 25, 35, 45, however old you are now. And, I'm hoping one day, whenever I'm in I love especially, and I do want to say this one thing, I love especially when I have people who comment that are in their 60s or 70s, and they are so supportive of how I am and how I represent myself. And then they share their stories with me about how they still are so connected to their younger selves, or that their favorite age was 39 or, 42 or something like that. I'm just like, You know, I know that. I know that the older I get, one day 47 might be my favorite age. You know, I might look back at age 47 and just be like, man, that was no, it's not going to be the year. It's definitely not going to be 2020, that is for sure. But you know what I mean? You know, I think as we get older, we start to realize that, wow, those were the good old days. But then we get a little bit older and we're like, those are the good old days, you know, when our children were still at home with us and stuff like that. Oh my God, that's going to make me emotional. Because I have friends whose children have already moved out, and God, I can't even imagine. I just cannot imagine. You know, I'm so excited about being a grandma one day, but it's just too hard for me to even imagine my children out of my house right now. I don't even want to go there because I will be a basket case, you know, for sure. Okay, so you know what? This was going to be a chit chats and favorites video, but I feel like I just spent so much time just chit chatting because I just felt like I just wanted to unload. I don't know, you know, sometimes I just feel like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop right there. You know what? I am going to go ahead and mention this jewelry that I'm wearing because I feel like people are definitely going to ask about this. My younger sister got both of these for me in Hawaii. She lives in Hawaii. And I'm not sure where she got them. I know they're sterling silver and I just love them. So unfortunately I can't link them or anything like that. But just in case you ask about them, I just want to go ahead and let you know that they are from my sister, Jasmine. And thank you, Jasmine. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I'm definitely going to put out a favorites video next week because I've got a big stash over here that I've been collecting and I've got some really good stuff. So make sure you come back next week. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I apologize for the crying and stuff like that. I just got really emotional. I can tell, I can even feel like myself in the way that I feel. I just feel kind of like out of sorts. I just want things to kind of go back to normal. You know, not like as far as COVID and stuff like that. It's just, you know, when you lose an animal, especially one that you've had for 22 years, it's almost like there's something good that's just missing, you know, from your life. And you just feel it every day, you know, you just kind of feel it. And so anyway, yeah, I'm sure, you know, I know time heals, but it takes time. It's only been 3 weeks or so. So anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week. This is her. Say hi, everybody. Can you say hi? She's like, leave me alone. She's 17 years old. She's really old. You want to get on my back? Come here. Kevin, come here. Now my dog's coming over here too. Look, he's gonna get on my back. Oh my God. That's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. Hi. You want to get on the counter? Or I'm just going to stand like here like a bridge for you all evening. Come here, get up there. This is my sweet baby girl thinking she's an actual baby. She will stay, look at this. She's even getting more comfortable. She'll stay like this as long as I'll keep her here. Oh. I love you. I love you. So anyway, we are going to go, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. She actually likes to be carried like a baby. I can put her over my shoulder and she'll just sit there like a baby. I remember one time I had to go get my daughter from across the street or something, and I walked out there with her over my shoulder like a baby, and the mom was like, like, it's so funny how you're carrying your cat, and she was not trying to get out at all. Right? You wanna get down? Dollar store eyeshadow, you just can't beat it. And I think the colors, although I thought, oh, she loves me. to start out a video right. This is my cat. I think most of you have probably seen her at some point or another ever since I started my channel. She always makes an appearance because she always has to be like right near me, which is why I came up with this, because in the mornings, whenever I get up in the morning to start getting my kids ready for school and stuff, she will literally just follow me from room to room. And she's like a cat dog. She just follows me everywhere. She's 21 years old, by the way. My husband got her for me when we were dating, and we were 25 at the time, and I'm 46 now. So I don't know exactly what month he got her for me. I just know how old I was, you know, so I was 25. Hey, sweet girl. Anyway, so I started putting her in my robe like this, and I just tie it real tight, and I don't even have to hold her, and I could like walk from room to room and she'll just be bouncing around, and she's totally fine with that. I feel like a kangaroo. This is probably how kangaroos feel.